For a long time, access to money and financial systems has depended on things many people simply do not have. A bank card, a formal account, credit history, or even access to a physical bank branch has been the gateway to participating in the modern economy. Without these, millions of people around the world have found themselves excluded from services that others take for granted. Sending money across borders, receiving payments for work, saving securely, or engaging in digital commerce has often required systems that were never built with everyone in mind. But that landscape is starting to shift. Around the world, technology is reshaping how value moves and how people participate in financial systems. The idea of financial access is no longer tied strictly to traditional institutions. Instead, new digital networks are emerging, designed to reduce barriers and give more people the ability to connect, exchange value, and participate in global activity using only the tools they already have. One of the most talked about ideas in this new wave of digital finance is the rise of mobile-first ecosystems, where access does not begin with paperwork or bank approvals, but with a device most people already carry every day. A smartphone has become more than a communication tool. It is now a gateway to services, identity, commerce, and in some cases, financial participation itself. This shift is changing the way people think about ownership, access, and opportunity. In this environment, the concept of decentralized networks has gained attention. Instead of relying on a single central authority to manage transactions or control access, these systems are built around distributed participation. The idea is that value and trust can be created collectively by users within a network rather than being dictated entirely by traditional financial institutions. Supporters of this approach see it as a step toward more inclusive systems where participation is not limited by geography, income level, or institutional approval. Within this broader movement, mobile-based digital currency projects like Pi Network have attracted interest for their approach to accessibility. The core idea behind Pi Network is to allow users to participate in a digital economy using their mobile phones, without requiring advanced hardware or significant financial investment. Instead of the traditional barriers often associated with financial systems or certain digital asset ecosystems, it focuses on lowering the entry threshold so that more people can engage with digital value systems in a simple way. For many users, the appeal lies in the sense of inclusion. The idea that financial participation could be possible through something as common as a smartphone creates a different perspective on access. It suggests a world where individuals are not excluded simply because they lack traditional banking infrastructure. In this vision, the phone becomes more than a device for communication or entertainment. It becomes a personal gateway to economic activity, digital interaction, and participation in a growing online ecosystem. As these types of networks expand, communities form around them. Users are not only participants but also contributors to the growth and stability of the system. The emphasis is often placed on collective engagement, where the strength of the network depends on the number and activity of its users. In such environments, value is not only financial but also social, as people interact, build trust, and explore new ways of exchanging goods and services. The broader conversation around digital currency and decentralized systems is also tied to the idea of financial empowerment. For decades, access to banking has been uneven across regions and populations. In some areas, opening a bank account can be a complicated process requiring documentation, minimum deposits, or physical proximity to financial institutions. In other places, people may have accounts, but still face limitations when it comes to cross-border payments or digital commerce. The promise of mobile-first financial systems is that they can potentially reduce some of these barriers by using existing technology infrastructure in a more inclusive way. At the same time, it is important to understand that these systems are still evolving. The technology, regulations, and real-world applications are developing gradually, and different projects approach the problem of digital access in different ways. Some focus on speed and transaction efficiency, others on security and decentralization, and others still on community participation and network growth. Each approach reflects a different vision of what the future of digital finance could look like. What makes this shift particularly significant is not just the technology itself, but the change in mindset it represents. The traditional idea of banking is built around centralized control, physical infrastructure, and institutional trust. The emerging model, on the other hand, explores distributed participation, digital identity, and user-driven ecosystems. In this model, individuals are not just customers of a financial system, but active participants in its development and maintenance. For everyday users, this could mean new possibilities for how value is exchanged. Local trades might become easier to facilitate through digital networks. Small-scale entrepreneurs could find new ways to reach customers beyond their immediate geographic area. Cross-border interactions, which were once slow and expensive, could potentially become more seamless. While these outcomes depend on many factors and are still unfolding, the direction of innovation is clearly toward greater connectivity and accessibility. At the heart of it all is a simple idea: access should not be limited by traditional barriers alone. Whether through mobile technology, decentralized networks, or new forms of digital currency, the goal being explored is how to include more people in the global flow of value. It is about rethinking how systems work so that participation is not reserved for a few, but available to many. In this evolving landscape, projects like Pi Network are often discussed as part of a broader experiment in redefining digital participation. They represent an attempt to build systems where entry is easier, community involvement is central, and financial interaction is more widely distributed. Whether or not any single approach becomes dominant, the larger trend is clear. The future of money, access, and digital interaction is being reshaped by technology in ways that continue to challenge traditional boundaries. And as these systems grow, the conversation around them will continue to evolve. What remains consistent is the push toward inclusion, accessibility, and new forms of digital connection. For many, this represents not just a technological shift, but a rethinking of who gets to participate in the global economy and how that participation is defined.